welcome back to Commander Paradise.
New year, mostly same us.
Yeah, we're still here.
Not a whole lot's changed. We're still just chilling.
But a whole year has passed, and so we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
365 days
Like a clock.
of Magic the Gathering.
Oh.
That's
And having looked at all of the sets that came out this year, that was a lot of Magic.
yeah. I wonder how many cards per day. How many cards came out this year? Do you think it was like 2,000 cards? I could probably find out.
I don't know if it would be 2,000 cards, but it would be. I mean, each set is like what, between 200 and 300 cards.
Yeah.
So if you went 250 out of 5, that's 1,000. I mean, we're looking at probably like 1,200 to 1,300.
It's higher.
Higher?
Yeah.
Like, damn. Oh, I don't know.
Well, including
1750.
reprints. Including reprints.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
4,774 were printed in all of Magic the Gathering. That's including historic, alchemy, and reprints, judge promos, and secret layers.
Oh, we didn't plan this part ahead of time. That's a really big number.
That's a lot. But okay, so
I didn't
new
realize we looked at
cards,
that many cards
Maybe
in a
half
year.
of that were new cards.
Yeah. So I was still pretty far off.
So we're looking at 13 cards per day of Magic the Gathering. And we're going to talk about all of them one at a time. First up, we got Abbott of Carol Keep. No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing that. But we're just going to talk about our favorites.
Flashback to like our first ever year recap, and we kind of did do that.
Yeah, we talk too much. We still talk too
No,
much.
but we got it now.
Yeah.
We don't talk enough. I would say we got it pretty distilled down this year, though. We got it here on our phones. We started using Google Docs.
Yes,
so
we leveled up.
New year, a little bit more organized us. Oh, side note, I bought a pill counter today. So I got a little circle with all my pills in it for each day of the week, because every day that I don't work, I never remember if I take my pills. I was like sitting there all day, and I was like, did I take it? I should go take it again. I was like, I can't take it like 4 times in a day because that's going to get ridiculous.
I need a pill
So I had to
counter
go.
for like shampoo, because I get like into the shower and I space out, and it's like, I don't know if I've fucking shampooed yet. Have I shampooed yet?
I gotta-
have no idea.
Just use the pill counter, but put your shampoo in it.
Ew.
I know.
The goop counter.
It's kind of cursed. It's the worst idea. Oh, maybe that's what we should do after the Red episode. We can come up with some kind of merch to hold your soap so you can wash your butt, and you know if you've washed your butt every day of the week.
That's nice. The
Yeah.
Commander
But-
Paradise soap counter. TM.
Yeah, it'd be-
copyrighted.
Don't patent it.
no one's-
It's already been patented.
We already took care of it.
Looking at you, the what is it? The day before, the last day.
But-
That zombie video game that forgot to patent their name.
Ooh. Well, because the game didn't exist.
Yeah, the game didn't
The
exist.
game wasn't real.
But
So it doesn't matter they trademark it because it's not real. They got their money and they
yeah,
ran.
that shit was funny. No, it came out. It came out like in November, and it's dog water.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it came out, but like it didn't have any of the features they said it would, and like it was all a bunch of like assets that they bought from like the Unreal store,
Yeah, it's just the Unreal 5 engine, because I think
like
that's what they
generic
ported
stuff,
it to.
which is fine to use
Yeah.
that. But like when that's
Not when you had 2 Kickstarters that
Yeah.
were fully backed.
and like all you came out with was like an asset flip game. It's like this is not an
I'm
MMO.
tossing the lasso. I'm pulling. We've fallen way off the trail, partner.
Now, watch someone play it. It was just like literally The Last of Us. Like it was just bad Last of Us. I was like, just go play Last of Us 2.
Yeah. Unstructured Last of Us.
So,
lasso it back. We're talking about cards this year. Some of them, not all of them.
just a few. So we got like maybe like
wee
10 or
bit.
so categories. Nothing too crazy. This is not the best in every category. So like when we get to like the white cards, like this
Speak
is
for
not the
yourself.
best white card that came out this year, or the best black card, because that's Orcish Bowmasters, and it's not even close. But you've heard everyone talk about Orcish Bowmasters already, so fuck that card. We're gonna talk about other cards that we still think are cool, because a bunch of like 4,000 fucking cards came out this year. We don't just need to talk about Orcish Bowmasters and the One Ring. We get it; they're good. You should play them. But other cards came out too.
I still have never played the One Ring.
It's pretty fun. I cast it one time and I was like,
Nice.
ooh. And I drew like 4
Yeah.
cards. It was sweet.
That's I tried to stay really true to like what I picked this year. I only picked cards that I've played or like things that I got and like was able to test.
Well, yeah.
So I'm
Sure.
not specking on anything.
No, that's totally fair. I think I've played all of these.
Because I was like, those are all really good cards, but I ain't never used them, and they're not kind of our sauce. So I was like, I ain't gonna put them on the list.
Yeah, I've cast
But there
all
is
of
something
these.
on this list that is one of my favorite sauces, and it always gets my ass kicked.
Oof.
So, yeah,
Okay. Well, do we want to just go like top to bottom?
or do you want to do Wooburg first, and then
dealer's choice. And I'm not the dealer.
do? Oh, I was gonna say, do you want to do rock paper
No,
scissors?
just you pick. It sounds like we're doing Wooburg.
Okay,
first.
yeah, let's do Wooburg first.
Okay. So, what was your favorite white card?
This is the exact card I was just talking about. I picked Phyrexian Censor, which
Pulling it up.
just ended up being like a house. And the art is sick, and the flavor text is insane. It really gives the impact of like March of the Machines.
Yeah.
But also, we should probably say what the card is. A 2 and a white Phyrexian wizard that's a 3/3. And it says each players can't cast more than one non-Phyrexian spell each turn, and non-Phyrexian creatures enter the battlefield tapped. I built an Azorius, like graveyards. No, it was Abzan. Abzan graveyard counters stuff. Phyrexian, what was it? Incubate deck?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this thing is like obviously a house in that because it's like built for that deck. But also, I've just tossed it in a couple other random white decks, and when it comes down, it like really kind of busts up the game and makes everyone play a little more like diligently because you can only really do like one thing. But it does produce a lot of ire.
Yeah, it's just a rule of law effect, which is good. Just each player can't cast more than one non-Phyrexian spell each turn. So you, in the Phyrexian deck, it's insane. It's unreal. It's just so one-sided. But even in non-Phyrexian decks, it's just a rule of law effect, and those are really powerful. More in CDH, you see a bunch of them. But I mean, I feel like you could start running these in some lower power games too, because it stacks. Like this is totally stacks, and like people never talk about this
Yeah.
when they talk about the stacks, but this is like actual stacks pieces that people actually play, not the stuff that people don't play. And also non-Phyrexian creatures enter the battlefield tapped, so no haste stuff. They just, all your stuff's gonna enter tapped. Just slows the game down, which is good because a lot of like red decks and green decks and black decks, like the turbo, they ritual everything out or just like ramp stuff out, and you'd be like, we're playing it my way.
Yeah. Just slow the roll just a little bit, bucko.
And the flavor text is nice. I do really like it. It's Quintorius muffled a sob as he watched the thing that was once Professor Pitnick confiscate yet another priceless historical tome.
Crazy.
Yeah. I like March of the Machine a
Yeah.
lot. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, it was a really, really fun set. And I think, yeah, and this one's fun. It's also a good Soul Titan target. You know what I mean? It's harder to get rid of. They got to exile your graveyard if you got that going on. So it's fun. I like tossing it in decks.
It does pass the Sun Titan test, which is important.
Yeah. But what you got for white?
Oh, mine's a bit more of like a staple.
What are you talking about? That is a staple.
Yeah, but this card's fucking.
You just ain't playing that. You ain't playing that meta.
But this card's busted. Oop. There we
This
go.
card is really good.
Clever Concealment, 2 blue with Convoke, the best keyword of all time. Any number of target non-land permanents you control phase out. So this is like a Teferi's Protection kind of thing where all your stuff just no longer exists. So this isn't as good as Teferi's Protection, maybe, because Teferi's Protection also is a fog, and you just phase out completely. You just no longer exist for a turn. But this still hits all your non-land permanents that you want, and it's any number. So if you want some stuff to go to the graveyard, like if stuff has dice triggers, you can still let them die. So yeah, like you cast this in response to a board wipe, and you have a Solemn Simulacrum mount. You can phase everything but the Solemn Simulacrum mount and draw your card, and then everything else just like you keep everything else, which I think is hilarious. And it's got Convoke, so it's free. It's 4 mana, but actually it's free as long as you have some creatures out, which is nuts.
Yeah. Very hype. And I think that's also cool, especially if you've got some like enchantment stuff in an Orzhov deck or something that's playing, and you like Bash of Remembrance, some stuff like that. So like you just let a bunch of tokens die. Then you just got to make sure you block before you play it. Because if you cast this and you don't block and everything phases out, then you don't really get to do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's solid. I mean, it's like what, half the price of Teferi's Protection?
It's $12,
Which is like
it's gone up a little bit.
$30 or something.
Well, Teferi's crashed. They reprinted it a bunch.
Oh, okay.
Teferi's Protection is... Never mind, it immediately went back up. That shit's $33 again. That's crazy.
So I was like, yeah, I think it's like right there.
Wow.
I think, yeah, that's like just the best thing because it's got the fog and it fogs you out for like a whole turn cycle in Commander, which is really crazy. But yeah, I think that's solid. It's kind of the same thing that a lot of the new phase out stuff is. It's solid, just especially for like protecting like key components and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't lean on them like as hard as the protection just because of the fog thing, but they're like really good.
Yes. I think it's a really good card.
Yor.
And it came in the token precon. I actually bought that precon just for this card. I was like, well, I might like
Nice.
the precon and the cards in it. And there's like another card I wanted in it. Oh, it had Flawless Maneuver in it.
Oh, yay. Yeah. Yay.
And
That
yeah, this card
good.
is really cool for token decks because in the world of like Farewell, you know, or like bounce board wipes like Cyclonic Rift, like something like Unbreakable Formation where it's like everything is indestructible, that doesn't do it anymore. Like you need, like this phases out, so they just like disappear and then they reappear, you know.
Yeah. Which is sick.
It's like better than like blinking or, you know, because it hits your
Yeah.
tokens. This was in a token deck, so it's like, okay, all your tokens survive, so you spend all this game making all the tokens and they'll survive,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is cool.
'Cause that's the one bad thing when you blink it and it's only the pieces that come back.
Yeah, but different decks, different cards for different decks.
Yeah. But no, I'd be thinking this card do be slaying.
What's your favorite blue card, Ryan?
Would you believe me if I told you I forgot?
I found it.
Oh, yeah, this card actually is really sick. I put it in Brago and took out Strionic Resonator because I didn't want to have a combo in that deck
Good
no more.
replacement.
Yeah, because it's like a half a Strionic Resonator. But it's one of the enchantments from Wild's Veil Drain, and it was 4 and a blue. For if a permanent enters the battlefield and causes a triggered ability, Panharmonicon, printed on one part of it. It's Panharmonicon.
And the card's called
And then the
Virtue
other-
of Knowledge.
The card is Virtue of Knowledge.
I think you forgot to say it.
I thought I might have. I don't remember. And then the adventure that this like building can go on, which is like the one thing that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, is the venture. What is it? Vantress Visions. 1 in a blue. copy target activated or triggered ability you control, you may choose new targets for it, which is like an instant version of Strionic Resonator. And then the Panharmonicon, obviously. So I think this is fun. It's like a nice way to like have that bit in the deck without having it be like an infinite combo threat, and also not wanting to have an infinite combo in the deck, you know? It gives you a little bit of both worlds. A little bit of Hannah Montana.
It's also
if you
like
will.
cool because that's like a copy a target activated or triggered ability. Like that's a lot of stuff. Like you could copy like an Evolving Wilds or a Fetch Land, and like that's you're ramping. That's 2 mana. That's you just ramping growth.
Yeah. That was sick, actually.
Yeah, and it's an instant, so you can do shit in combat or like.
Yeah.
So you can do like tricky stuff with that instant. And
Could you? What's the one that blows up an opponent's land and not everybody's land? Like you and an opponent lose the land.
like Demolition Field or Strip Mine or something.
yeah, Demolition Field. You could copy that, couldn't you, and not have to sacrifice another land?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
get,
But
get the Gaia's Cradle and the Urborg.
oh, okay, yeah. So you get 2 lands, and then they each get their 1 land, but you get an extra land.
Yeah, that's kind of stinky.
I like that.
That's just like really mean though. That's like too sweaty.
I mean, they're getting basics out of it. If you don't run enough basics, that's on you. You should run more basics.
That's also fair. Yeah. But I think it's cool. It's a fun card. And I thought the cycle was pretty fun.
Yeah, the cycle's really cool because like there's the 5 like courts of Eldraine, so you have like Vantress, like Castle Vantress, and then they're all like mention that, and then they're also all like the knight, like the Sir blank, like Sir. This is like Sir Alindra, which is like her power is like equal to the number of cards in your hand or something like that. And then if I could spell.
That's okay. I can't.
Virtue of Loyalty, Arvindale Fealty, just make a token. Or Virtue of Courage, and that's like Sir Kara. Emberith, Castle Emberith. And you got Sir Conrad, he's got his lantern.
Oh, let's
Block
go.
Clean Scorn. So I like that cycle a lot because it like fits the you get a lot of Eldraine in the cycle, and their adventures, and they're cool. I pulled one of these the other day. See if I have it right here.
That's hype. And the adventure, I know I was goofing on it earlier, but it's definitely like the character taking that adventure.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I was like. That has to be what it was trying to be. Like each of those characters have their own adventure that leads them to the place.
Oh, that's fun. Virtue of Strength.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
It's got a
too.
regrowth for 1 mana. That's kind of nuts. That's kind of like pushed. I mean, it's only a creature or a land, but I mean,
That's what else are you getting
yeah,
back?
just put it in a deck where you like those. That's cool.
Nice. But what'd you have for blue?
C double. This card's stupid.
Yeah.
2 blue. The spell can't be copied because they don't want us to have fun. Choose 1. It's an instant. If an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, you may choose both. Copy target spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. That's any spell. And it says a copy of a permanent spell becomes a token. So you can copy an artifact. You can copy a creature. You can copy a planeswalker. You can copy... Well, the planeswalker would die because the legendary rule. You can copy creatures. You can copy whatever you want. You can copy battles. Any spell...
Wait.
You can copy it, or an instant or sorcery for 4 mana. Like that's nuts. Or you can create a token that's a copy of target creature, and it's not a. So it's like an instant speed, instant, or like instant spell clone that can copy whatever. And you can copy it's copy target spell, so it can be anyone's. So like you can hit someone's like big bomb enchantment, and you'd be like, well, I got one of those now too for 4 mana.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And you can do both.
Um,
You can do two things if an opponent has 8 or more cards in the graveyard, which will probably happen. Just board
That's-
wipe.
Yeah. Board wipe, or if people are if just enough people have enough like fetch type lands.
Yeah.
You know, there's people will just have stuff in there. You'd have to be in Grixis. I was looking it up real fast, but I think could you copy okay, you cast Ob Nixilis from Capenna, Casualty. The copy that you cast isn't legendary. Can you copy
Yes.
that one and then get 3 bobs out of it? That's stinky.
Ooh. Copy the non. Oh.
Yeah, copy the Casualty because it goes on the stack, it enters, you sack something, the copy goes on the stack, copy the bob, and then you get two.
Okay,
two-
so
you get another bob.
You cast Bob on the stack.
Yes.
You cast C double. C double enters the battlefield. The token Ob would enter first. Then Casualty would trigger. Then you make the copies. Then the original one will trigger. And then you can make the copies. But then the original one of those would die. But then you would still get
Wait, which one would die?
one of the obs. One of the legendary obs would still die. So either the token copy one or the non-token copy one.
Well, the tokens aren't legendary by way of like Casualty.
Yes, but you're making a token copy of. My brain is hurting.
Because you can cast the. Yeah, I was like, wait, let me read Casualty real fast.
we have
Casualty
the
X, the
technology.
copy isn't legendary and has the starting loyalty X. As you cast the spell, you may sacrifice a creature with X power. When you do copy the spell, the copy becomes a token. So you copy the spell and then you copy the Casualty version of the spell so that it also isn't legendary. And then they both come in as tokens.
Oh, okay, so you're saying you're copying.
Yeah, so like you cast Bob.
Uh-huh.
Bob's trigger goes on the stack. It's like, do you want to sack a dumb little idiot? You go, yes. And you sack the dumb little idiot. And then when the second Bob goes on the stack, you cast C double, you copy the other Bob, and then you've got 3 Bobs.
Maybe.
I think it's how it works.
Don't know.
If it doesn't, and this is the ramblings of a lunatic, just let us know.
I think you're right, but what I don't know is if that token copy will enter with any loyalty counters. I just don't know.
Well, it would be a copy of whatever the other one is, which already has a value assigned to it on the stack.
But something in my heart says it'll be like, no, technically the casualty cost wasn't paid for the second one, so it'll be a loyalty of like X equals 0, and then it just instantly dies. Maybe. But I see what you mean. I think you're right. I hope you're right.
No, it's
'cause
fair.
That sounds awesome.
If you're listening, let us know because I want 3 Bobs.
Yeah.
I'll start playing Grixis if I can make 3 Bobs.
And we're talking about
That'll be my thing.
Omnixilis, the adversary, 1 black and a
Yeah.
red, with casualty X, and it's a 3-mana planeswalker. This card was gonna like destroy every format ever, and now it's $4.
Ouch,
Yeah.
but also sick. It's
a
a
cool
really,
card.
it's still sick as fuck in the Pioneer deck.
Yeah.
I love that deck. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna still play that deck in like 40 years. And then it'll be like my grandkids taking me to bed. And I'll be like, oh, I love Rakdos. And they're like, I'm sure you do,
Okay,
Grandpa. Let's
Grandpa.
get you to bed. But what's okay. Big tangent, sorry. But C double is very sick. I was curious about the 3 Bobs.
No worries. This next one is like kind of a mean card, but I love it.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say I actually was on the same boat. You sent the list, and I was like, for black, I might pick this. And I scrolled down, and you had it, and I was like, okay, I picked something else then. But I think this is like one of the best removal cards that came out this year.
This is one of the strongest cards of the year. This card's ridiculous. It's 2 mana for an instant. for an Edict, which is already like that's the classic rate. Like Chainer's Edict is like a classic card, and that's target player sacrifices a creature for 2 mana. And I don't that might be a sorcery. What edicts do we have? Chainer's Edict is a sorcery. Or
Oh, damn.
Merkel's Edict is like a commander. Oop, where did it go? Here we go. Chainer's Edict, target player with flashback. So, sorcery speed. Cruel Edict, target opponent sacrifices a. So, classic one. This is from like super old. Like, look at that. Old as shit.
The before times.
Or Diabolic Edict. Okay, so you get to.
Make one person sack something at instant speed.
Yes. Okay, so Tempest. This came out but target player, instant speed.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have something like Playcrafter, Fleshbag Marauder, whatever. When it enters battlefield, each player, so you can hit multiple players. But that's 3 mana on a creature that sacrifices itself, which is really, really good. But the stinker, what makes this card so crazy and stinky, is that it says each opponent for 2 mana at instant speed. And
more.
There's more words. It says each opponent sacrifices choose one. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature, or a creature token, or a planeswalker. In our format, planeswalker is mostly flavor text, but sometimes when you need to kill a planeswalker, you need to, and this kills that planeswalker for 2 mana. Or the main mode is just non-token creature. And that's like one of the problem, like not a problem, but just like one of the downsides of an edict effect like this is that one of the players is gonna have a token. They sack their 1/1 human token and they didn't lose anything, but you got the other players. But this you say, no, loser, you can't do that. You have to sacrifice a non-token creature. So it's insane.
Yeah.
I think this is like super playable. Like I run this in my Sauron CEDH deck, and maybe that's incorrect, but I think it's correct because it's it's a 3-for-1 for 2 mana at instant speed, and like someone's about to do something sneaky, you'd be like, no, get it out of there, sacrifice it.
Yeah, it slides right on in there. Especially 2 mana is super easy to play. Dude, yeah.
I think
The first time they played it, someone played it against me and they were like, sacrifice a creature or a non-token creature. And I was like, oh, well, I'll just sacrifice this token. And they were like, oh, you got to read the card, goofball. And I read the card and I was like, oh,
it's like,
this is amazing.
It's insane.
And I like ran and bought a playset.
Yeah.
Like that. After that game, I was like, I can't use them tonight, but like, I'm going to always have this card.
I wish I bought a playset. I think I only have one. But it's like good enough. I think it should go in every black deck. Like this card is the real deal. Like play it. It's right now it's $3.
And the Planeswalker's just that like little extra sauce, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's
someone's
extra
got
words.
a doubling season out and something comes down. Womp. They don't get that ult, you know. You can sack it before they do it, doesn't it? Because the doubling season trigger has to go on the stack.
Yes.
No, no, it might enter. It doesn't matter. Good card.
Insane card, actually.
Yeah. And the art goes hard.
Yeah, the art's cool.
Shieldred's
Is that really a Johnny?
Good. I can't tell.
They made him look weird.
It's one of those things I can't tell what I'm looking at a little bit, but I can tell Shieldred's going ham. And it looks like 2 dudes are brawling.
Like, they made him look weird. When he got all the armor. Like, yeah, what is happening here? Oh, well. I don't know if I can show that. Oh, well. But look up Completed a Johnny. They made him look weird. When he got, like, his full Elish Norn armor on, he looks whack.
Yeah. No, he's evil Ajani. Get it? Yeah. He's evil. I think it was a weenie move to keep him alive.
Yeah. We'll
yeah.
talk about it later.
We don't have to. It's fine.
I mean, it'll come up.
It'll come up. My black card of the year was Blight Titan. It is 4/2 black for a Phyrexian giant with Death Touch and a 6/6. And whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, mill 2 cards, then incubate X, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Again, I have this in that Phyrexian deck, and it's like very fun to play. But the other thing is, it's just a giant 6/6 that, like, depending on like how your deck is built and what you've got in the yard, you can just kind of very quickly start churning out like big bodies. Because the thing is, you can keep those incubate tokens and then transform them. They like don't have summoning sickness; they can just swing. So you could have like big chunky dudes pretty quickly
That are
if you have like a
safe
hermit
until you
druid or
need them.
something. Yeah, and you have to like you either have to Vandal Blast them or do something. Like I'm gonna abrade your incubator token. Ew, no, like no one's gonna do that. So yeah, it's definitely not like insane or anything, but I think it's just a fun card, and it's a Titan. They called it a Titan, so
Yeah, it's like a
I liked
Grave
it.
Titan clone.
Yeah, it's just a Phyrexian Titan. So
Yeah, but it also mills on attack in ETB, and like just like milling 2 cards a turn is like you if your deck cares about milling, like milling regularly in like multiple ways on your turn is important. Like filling your graveyard with stuff, and then getting something for that on top of whatever value you're already getting out of milling. Like in like the Myco Tyrant. Like this might be a Myco Tyrant card. I mean, because you're getting a 6/6 Death Toucher, that's decent. And ETB get at least 1 Descend trigger, so you're gonna get like probably a fungus out of this, and then you get some other tokens for sure, and then you just get more as you go. So
Yeah.
if you care about stuff entering your graveyard, this is pretty good.
yeah, it's a decent body and stuff. I mean, it's 6 mana, but like I feel like in a decent chunk of commander games, you're gonna hit a point where you're just like, I'll just cast it,
Yeah.
whatever. And if you're playing like Gitrog or you've got Conrad or something like that, like this is just a bigger enabler. Any lands that you whiff on, you're gonna draw a card off of it.
Yeah.
And every creature that goes into the yard, Conrad's gonna shoot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean it's cool. It's just a fun card. I liked it.
Yeah, I like it. Or like Chainer, like mono black Chainer. Like this is a big thing you can reanimate with Chainer, and then he like gets more
Yeah.
shit in your graveyard and making all these tokens. And then if someone board wipes all your stuff away, it's like I'll just activate 3 incubator tokens because it's only 2 mana to transform.
Yeah, and that's the other byproduct of all of that stuff is you're also just gonna have these little eggs sitting around. That like the other thing is like if you incubate X and X is 0, that's still like kind of sick because you just like pay 2 mana into stuff to just Blood Artist trigger whenever you want. Or so like if you have like 3 of those things out or 2 of those things out, it's pay 2 mana, deal 2 damage to someone's dome. You just kind of toss the eggs in the oven if all you've been hitting is lands or something
Sure.
too. So
No.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I forgot about this card, but like, just talking about it now, I think I want to try it because I'm working on $50 Myco Tyrant. And this is a windmill slam because it's 18 cents. So I'm gonna try it for sure.
hell yeah.
My favorite
80 cents is solid.
red card.
We're moving on to red.
My favorite red card is Hedron Detonator. This card's sick. It's a 3 mana for a 2/3 Goblin Artificer. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to target opponent. It is important, target opponent. And then tap and sacrifice 2 artifacts. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. So it's card advantage, and it's a sacrifice outlet, and it's a pinger. All for your artifact decks. And if you're making blood, if you're making treasures, if you're making clues, if you're making food, wow. Or the deck I played in Pia, Boros Pia, Pia Nalar Console Revival. Whenever this is like made for that deck. It's so good at that
Yeah.
deck because it's like whenever you cast a spell or play a land from exile, you make a 1/1 Thopter. So this lets you, whenever that Thopter enters, you deal 1 damage to an opponent. So you're killing your opponents. Then Pia gives that Thopter haste, so then you can swing it at someone. Then you can tap and sacrifice that Thopter, like another Thopter, to exile the top card of your library and cast it again and get another Thopter and then deal more damage and just go, go, go. So it's just it just works so well.
Yeah. Sick.
So if you
Another Reckless Fireweaver, you know.
yeah, because it's Reckless Fireweaver and it's like it sets up like Welder stuff because it gets artifacts from the field into the graveyard.
Yeah.
And it's card advantage. All in one card.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I need to buy this because it's gone up. When I first was building that Pia deck, it was 50 cents. Now it's up to $2. So people are starting to people are starting to figure it out. So I need to get a copy.
Also, the stats are just solid.
Yeah, it's a 2/3.
You know, that's just solid blocker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
2/3 is good stats. There's this girl on Twitter, I forget her name, but she writes amazing articles. If I think of her, I'll edit it into this. And she always talks about how 2/3 is a great stat line in Commander, and she's right.
Nice. I would definitely agree with person on Twitter.
Oh, also flavor text is like, complete this, and he's like chucking a fucking Hedron bomb at some Phyrexian's face.
Yeah, and it looks crazy. It's like covered in vines and shit.
And he's Goblin.
I love it.
It's got to be
Yeah.
good.
Goblino. My red card of the year was a weird little dude too. I think it was also a goblin. Yeah, Enterprising Scalawag. It's 1 in a red for a 2/2.
It's a bear.
And at the beginning of your end step, if you descend this turn, create a treasure token, which is just like most decks, something's going in the yard. You know what I mean? It's any permanent, so it's an evolving wild. Crack your evolving wild, get a land and get a treasure. Okay. Cast Harrow, sacrifice land, get 2 lands and a treasure. Okay. You know, also goes really hard with the cat oven deck because every time you put the cat in the oven, you get a treasure token. Just sick. Obviously, it's only like once each turn it triggers at your end step, but like just like slowly getting a bunch of treasures because if you don't need them right away, you just let them stash up, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I get like a free Blight Titan now because I've got 7 treasures. Oh, I've got 1 left over. Let's go.
You can get this on turn 2.
Yeah, and you can get it out early. So
Like turn,
I like it.
A turn 2 fetch land into this is like you're immediately getting a treasure. So now you have 4 mana on turn 3. So I mean that's basically like you played a Mind Stone, you know.
Yeah,
That's pretty sweet.
it's solid. I like it a lot.
But reminder that you included this, but if you're listening to this, you descended if a permanent card was put into your graveyard from anywhere. So it doesn't count tokens. It's only actual cards. So lands, creatures, enchantments, artifacts, battles, planeswalkers.
Batales.
Yeah. So it's a little trickier, but if you're in a deck where you're like sacrificing stuff like a reassembling skeleton every turn, and then you're also getting a treasure. Green. We're on green.
We on Queen.
Do you want to go first or me?
Yeah, I'll go first. I picked Green Sun's Twilight, which is X and a green, and I think it's sorcery speed. But I mean, it's kind of like Green Sun Zenith, isn't it? I think that's like, I forget the Green Sun Zenith text.
It's not nearly as good as Green Sun Zenith, to be fair.
No, not at all. But I think it's like kind of the idea.
Yes. It's a riff.
'Cause
on
I
it
think this
while
whole
being not,
cycle
a
was
broken
like-
card.
Yeah. I thought that was like this whole cycle's deal was like, hey, this is that card, but like
Different.
spooky. Yeah. But it's reveal the top X plus 1 cards of your library. Choose a number of your library. Choose a creature card and or a land card from among them. Put those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If X is 5 or more, instead put the chosen cards onto the battlefield or into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order, which is just sick. It's pretty easy to pay 6 mana into this and just immediately get like an extra land or a creature. And it's cool because you get to look at like however much you're paying into it. So it's kind of like 5 is easy to pay into it, and you can also just pay more into it. Sometimes I just like taking a turn off and dumping it into this and just looking through a bunch of cards. And you always end up hitting something fun and an extra land, so it's fun.
Yeah, you can cheat stuff into play with this, and if you're in a deck where you can go up on mana with this, so you paid 6 mana, but then you also ramp, and you get like an 8/8. You get like an 8 mana thing. Pretty good. Also, if you have infinite mana, this is just a tutor because you just look at every card in your deck. So it's just an infinite mana outlet to get whatever combo piece you need.
Oh, yeah, that's solid.
It's like I have infinite mana with Marwyn the Nurturer, or Selvala, but I don't have a payoff. Cast this. I get the payoff onto the battlefield now, and then I can immediately dump all my mana into Azuri, and then you go.
Yeah. That's solid, yeah. It's like a nice backup to everything else.
So I think it's a little underrated for that because green's all about, like, in high power, green is like, okay, I'm getting infinite mana and I'm doing shit with it. Like if you don't have your Thrasios and you don't have like a Kinnan to like get all your big stuff or to like to dump your mana into, this is pretty good, I think.
Yeah. Nice. That's what I was thinking. Wait, does Kinnan have the payoff or
Kinnan doesn't, you can't win with Kinnan like you can with Thrasios, but you can just dump shit into play, and then I think you can win if you get enough big dumps, maybe.
Oh no, that's fair enough.
But it doesn't, like, because Thrasios lets you draw your deck. But Kinnan, there might be some combo you can fall into, because you can get, like, a non-human creature, I think, into play. And typically people just get, like, Void Winnower and Nezahal and the Sphinx that draws cards.
Consecrated Sphinx.
Yeah, Consecrated Sphinx.
Consecrated Sphinx. Yeah, it's fun, and it's yeah. You could do some stuff with it.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Yeah, just you need big things that are worth cheating into play. Like if you're in like a smaller deck, where it's like, well, I'm getting like a 3/3 out of this, probably not worth it. But like in a Xenagos kind of deck, where it's like, well, I'm getting not like a 7/7 with trample and an attack trigger, and then it's gonna be a 14/14 with trample and haste with an attack trigger for 6 mana.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Easy.
I can't spell. Mine is Armored Scrap Gorger, a 2-mana 0/3, taps for a mana of any color. So just 2 mana, 1 mana of any color dork. There's a lot of those. It gets +3/+0 as long as it has 3 or more oil counters on it. Whatever. Whenever it becomes tapped, exile target card from a graveyard and put an oil counter on it. So it's a mana dork. It's a 2-mana dork, which is okay. That's a little above rate, but they're playable. I mean, people play Paradise Druid. People play like Ornithopter of Paradise. People play 2-mana rocks. There's not a lot of 2-mana rocks that add a mana of any color. This one does. And it's a creature for your creature synergies. And then it's also graveyard aid. It exiles a card from a graveyard. And, like, yes, it's only 1 per tap. But if you can get ahead of it, because this comes down on turn 2. And if, like, people are starting to, like, dump, like, problematic stuff into the graveyard, you can just start sniping them as they go. And it's like people are like like typically people play a thing and try and cheat it and play immediately, and you can instant speed say no. It's gone. You know?
Yeah. It's also like a Deathrite Shaman, you know,
Yeah.
because you can snipe it with like the
It
the
is a
same way.
Deathrite Shaman. It's not as good as Deathrite Shaman, but that's a pretty good.
Can I say something just a little bit controversial real fast?
What up?
I think because I've been hearing other people talk about Deathrite Shaman, and if it's that good because it has to have a land to be turned on to do anything, this like might be slightly better because you can still get mana out of it with nothing in the graveyard, and then snipe stuff as it goes. And then it's also a better blocker that's like okay to leave up. You know, it's like more formidable. People aren't gonna just swing 1/1s into you.
I think it definitely depends on the meta. Because, like, our meta, we're not running a bunch of fetch lands. Like, not like the real fetches. Like, sometimes you run a Fable Passage or a Mirror Landscape. But, like, seeing, like, an Arid Mesa or a Scalding Tarn is rare for our meta,
Yeah.
you know?
No,
And
absolutely.
so, you're right, 100%. And a lot of people play like that, you know? But if you're in
That's
some
like, if
higher
you're in a
tune metas where you're always seeing fetch lands, Deathrite Shaman is still really good.
Yeah, and it also just totally depends on internal metas as well, you know, like what people are playing. But yeah, this doesn't take anything to get turned on. It takes one more turn to play. So like if that matters, that's fine. But if you're in a deck where you've found yourself being like, is Deathrite Shaman that good because it's not turned on most of the time? Maybe just try this card. Because you're still going to be able to get stuff out of the graveyards kind of whenever you want. You're going to be making mana regardless. And then if you have to have a beater, you can beat, you know. I think it's a pretty good card.
Yep, and it's green because Deathrite Shaman is Golgari. It only goes in Golgari decks. It goes in any deck, and it's 23
Any green,
cents.
yeah.
And Deathrite Shaman is more expensive. It's about a tank in price though. How much is Deathrite Shaman? Deathrite Shaman is $4, but it's about to be reprinted, and Ravnica Remasters. We'll see what that does to the printing. But you do have this really cool, like, hybrid old border card. It's the first hybrid old border card.
Yeah.
And it looks very...
I think it looks
It
sick.
looks very nice. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And this thing's $13 already, which is cool. Also, ooh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's also awesome.
But yeah.
I want to get one just to own one, but I think they're cool. But I've heard a lot of other people talking about like if it's worthwhile to run in a deck, and if you feel like that, maybe just try playing this other card. Try playing the dude, the Gorger, the Armored Scrap
It's only
Gorger.
23 cents.
Try playing him, yeah. It is sick. The art is wild.
Next up, we have multicolor cards.
Oh.
Mine is Nayali Sun's Vanguard. This is not for the commander specifically. This is in the 99. I thought it's a fine commander. You can do it. It's totally functional. I just didn't like it personally. But it says attacking tokens you control have double strike. Pretty sweet. And whenever one or more tokens you control attack a player, exile the top card of your library. During any turn you attacked with the token, you may play that card. So again, it's a Boros Pia card, but it's so good in that deck. But I think it goes in like any deck with tokens. Like if you're in a what's that? Jetmir. It's like a Jetmir card. It's a
Oh yeah.
like anything just going wide, or it's like a
Oh my god. That would go insane in Jet.
or like a Mardu like token decks. Those definitely exist. This is good there. So it's just card advantage, and it makes your tokens punch harder, all on one dude. He's got big.
It's also human, so it's like a fairly relevant creature type that'll trigger
Yeah.
most. This sounds like such a like Fox News thing to say, but it's gonna trigger a lot of white weenies.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah. This card triggers.
But
lives.
it's sick. Yeah, this card triggers a lot of white weenies. I definitely agree though, because as a token deck, you want something in the zone that's gonna make the tokens, and this thing doesn't make tokens at all.
Yeah.
It's just
It's the payoff for making all the tokens in your deck. But
yeah, which in the 99 is perfect.
if you're in a red, white, X deck, it's pretty good. Oh, or Kaikar.
If you're making tokens.
Think about Kaikar.
Oh, that would be crazy. Yeah, Kaikar would be
It is
really
a
good.
It is a creature in your non-creature deck, but still super good in Kaikar. Because especially in the Kaikar deck where you're like playing like, because he specifically makes spirits, and so there's like a build of Kaikar where you like soup up the spirits with like specific enchantments that like buffs flyers and things like auras. Kind of like my Alayla deck, where you cast like an anthem, and that anthem makes a flyer that buffs that flyer. People do that with Kaikar.
Yeah.
And so you do that. In this, they now have double strike, and they impulse draw, which is just good. And it's like permanent impulse draw because it's during any turn you attacked with the token. You may play that card, and that stays on that forever. So as long that line of text, so even if Niali's gone, you can still cast it as long as you attack with the token.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah.
So it's like permanent impulse draw, which is really cool.
Yeah. That's really awesome.
What's yours, Ryan? Your favorite multicolor Magic the Gathering card?
I picked the newest Bob because we've been getting a lot of Bobs recently. But it's Ob Nixilis. I forget.
Captive Kingpin?
Captive Kingpin, yeah. Just because I think it is a really fun card purely from... I'm just going to restart that. I hated that. It's sick, and I like the way that it makes you build to have dealing 1 damage be really important, because it kind of does the opposite of what we were talking about during the Mono Red episode about doubling and tripling damage. But let's read it real fast. Ob Nixilis, Captive Kingpin, 2 and Rakdos, black and red with a flying trample 4/3. Whenever one or more opponents lose exactly 1 life, put 1/1 counter on Ob Nixilis and exile the top card of your library until... The way that printing is on it makes it so weird in the middle. Until your next end step, you may play that card. So you get it for that turn, or if you're able to deal damage, like with a Reckless Fireweaver or a Zulaport Cutthroat, you can get those cards going into your next turn if you've got a way to sack stuff. Flying Trample is pretty sick too, because you can buff them up pretty high. And if he's your commander, that can be super relevant. But I feel like it's a 3rd tier of advantage from like your painters. So like every time you paint, you also get to draw a bunch of cards, basically going into your next turn and buff a big dude. Yeah, I think it's pretty sick. Sorry, I had no idea how to explain it at first, but I think that was a more concise answer.
Yes. And I agree. He's fucking sweet. He's one of the cooler commanders that came out this year. He's like a CDH commander for sure. When I was at Mox Masters, I was in it against it. I played like 3 different players that were playing it, and it's scary. It gets big, fast. And lots of things make people lose 1 life, like fetch lands. Whenever someone cracks a fetch land, you draw a card.
Yeah. I always forget about that.
Yeah.
We never play fetches.
I know,
It's like
yeah.
never. Yeah.
Fetches are expensive.
Yeah.
The pingers or like Sor Conrad. It's like deals 1 damage to each opponent.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff. So he's cool. He's sweet. You can play like rear card. You can play that stupid like parasite fucking card.
Oh, is that the one that's in
Nekusar. Cataract Parasite.
Yeah.
Whenever an opponent draws a card, if you control a red permanent, you may have Cataract Parasite deal 1 damage to that player. Also, this might just be a Neki card. It absolutely is. At the beginning of each player's draw step, the player draws an additional card. Whenever opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to that player. So you Windmill Slam Ob Nixilis into Nekusar, please, because you're gonna get 2 counters on Ob Nixilis a turn, and then you can just start punching dudes with flying and trample while you're getting card advantage.
Yeah, that's really crazy because that would almost be like deck yourself territory.
Yeah.
You know, because you're also exiling like up to, and that doesn't stop people from drawing cards. Everyone just draws cards and loses life until it hits a critical mass, and then the game like collapses.
Yeah.
So it's like he's gonna be buff unless someone kills him. That's fucked up.
So cool card.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's sick.
Also, the desparked symbol is like very surprising to me. Like they like this like little lightning. Something about this little lightning bolt does.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, that means they're a desparked planeswalker.
Oh, I get it. It makes I can't barely read it. I'm like,
It's very strange. Yeah, so like Nayali or Calyx.
ooh.
What's your favorite colorless card?
Could you toss the stream up for me?
No.
No, dude. I don't know how to read the cards if I can't look at them. Okay? And excuse me, I'm going to have a diva moment, but I don't want to look at my phone while I make content. I want to see it on the screen. Oh, that would have been, I was like, ha. Okay. My favorite, okay. There was a brief intermission. You asked me what my favorite colorless card was. Whatever we were saying right before this, it doesn't matter. It's in the past.
We were complaining
Just
about
forget about
desparked
it.
planeswalkers and their like planeswalker symbol because it's a little weird.
Oh, goofy goobers. But back to the task at hand, my favorite colorless card was Aggie's Cauldron.
Oh my god, this shit's insane.
This card is so good.
Yeah, this card is bananas.
Agatha's Soul Cauldron. It's 2 mana for a legendary artifact. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to activate abilities of creatures you control. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have all activated abilities of all creatures cards exiled with Agatha's Soul Cauldron, and then tap it, exile target card from a graveyard. When a creature card is exiled this way, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. This card is bonkers. This card's fucking bonkers, dude. Yeah. One, just being able to snipe stuff. Again, you can just get anything out of the graveyard that you have to, but also just like going into your turn, just get something. You know, you can hit a creature and put a 1/1 counter on it, even if that creature doesn't have an activated ability. But super cool. And it's also cool that no matter what counter it is, it doesn't correspond to that creature or anything. It's just all cards with Agatha's Cauldron. So if you're in a 1/1 counter deck where you're also just dumping counters on everything, you can give everything those activated abilities. So pretty I would say it's a pretty cool card if you asked me.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of the strongest artifacts they've made like in a long time. Its price reflects that. It's currently like $40, $43.
Ooh, stinky.
It's a mythic in a set that like sold like okay. It didn't sell like great. So that's part of it. And there wasn't a lot of big bangers in that set. There's like several like little bangers, but there's not like a lot of like big cards in that set. And so all the money went into this card, which happens a lot. So
Yeah.
like you may spend mana or a mana of any color to activate abilities of creatures you control. So it mana fixes you. So it's like a mana fixing rock, kind of, for 2 mana at minimum. Then it's Graveyard Hate, and it buffs your creatures, and it gets crazy abilities, and then it goes infinite with stuff. If you get like piles under this, you can start doing some like weird shit.
Yeah.
So it's a combo piece. It's just a generic value piece for 2 mana. So pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the strongest cards they've made this year. Like I would say it's probably top 10. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, I would probably say so. I'd say so.
It's like the One Ring,
say so.
Orcish Bowmasters, Atraxa, Atali. This.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other stuff.
I don't know what would beat it.
No.
But insane card, good choice. I got another Eldraine card though.
What is it?
What would you like to know? Collector's Vault.
What is it?
It's a 2 mana artifact. Pay 2, tap it, draw a card, then discard a card. Create a treasure token. So this card's like this just blows my mind because we've had this effect before. Like they power crept. They keep doing it. Like Jalum Tome. This card has been around forever. Like it's been printed a million times. It's from like 7th edition. It's an old card. It was just in Dominaria remastered. Like it's not like a crazy card or anything, but it's just like a staple. It was in Commander Legends. So it's been like in some banger sets, and it's a banger card. 3 mana for an artifact that says pay 2, tap it, draw a card, then discard a card. Pretty good card selection on an artifact in like the common slot in like a draft format, you know? And it's like it's a solid effect. Like I've played it in like limited before, and it feels good. It's like decent. It's a good filler card. If you synergize with artifacts, if you synergize with like discarding cards, it's pretty good. But they just made it way better because now it's 2 mana instead of 3 mana, and it makes a treasure token. What? They just like power crept the shit out of that card, and it was like already like I think an underrated card. Like it's like just a classic card, a classic utility card. Better stuff you could be playing for sure, but just like a playable card that people have been playing in cubes and like draft formats for a long time.
Just a classic card.
And now, like, it makes treasure token. Like, that's just classic fucking modern Magic
And
design.
it costs less.
And it costs less. It's like, you know what's cool? Jalum Toad. You'd be sick if it made a treasure token too. It's like, what did we do? What are we doing here? And it's sweet. I like it a lot. I think it goes in a bunch of decks. Like, it's an Osgear card for sure. It's a Myco Tyrant card. It's a... if you care about just drawing cards, if you care about the act of discarding, if you care about like putting stuff into your graveyard specifically so you can do shit with it later, you just need like a little bit of synergy, and then this thing's great because it's also ramping you a little bit. I mean, you're getting treasure back. You're paying 1, but then you pay 2, but then you get 1 mana back. So it's 1 mana, draw a card, discard a card.
Yeah.
So I think it's sweet. It goes in a bunch of decks. I think people are gonna catch on. I think this is gonna be a sleeper. But I think it's really good.
Yeah. It seems like utility out the ass.
We only got a couple more categories. Oh, I do want to shout out one more colorless card. Because we have a card name that's also a set name. Rise of the Eldrazi, 9 colorless, colorless, colorless. This spell can't be countered. Destroy target permanent. Target player draws 4 cards. Take an extra turn after this one. Exile Rise of the Eldrazi, which is pretty badass.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's from the Eldrazi deck, obviously. The Eldrazi Precon. And it's just cool. Like, look at that shit. It's cool.
Yeah.
Like,
it feels like you're firing every gun.
And the flavor text is sick, and still the Titans were not sated.
Dude, that's crazy. The art is
Yeah, the art's insane, and I love the Eldrazi text box because we're like they're all full art. Like Eldrazi are so cool. I need it.
Yeah.
Need an Eldrazi deck. I don't have one. I don't have a colorless deck.
Yeah.
And Eldrazi.
I don't
cool.
either.
Maybe I'll just buy that precon.
Do it. I dare you.
But yeah, this card's just, and there's like a very short list of set names that are also like card names. Well, we just had one retroactively. We have March of the Machines. This already existed, but now we have a set called the March of the Machines. We also have
Nice.
All Will Be One. We got Phyrexia All Will Be One, and we got All Will Be One. So there's a short list, and we just got another one. So we had to shout it out. We got 2 in 1 year.
That's pretty crazy, actually.
3, kind of,
I love that.
because we had one retro.
What's the other one?
Well, we had the March of the Machine become one.
Yeah.
We had the Rise of the Eldrazi, and we have All Will Be One. But there's some other ones too. Like there's one there's one called Invasion, I think.
So I was trying to think. My mind just went so blank on like any set name ever.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's how it always goes.
Speaking of sets, what was your favorite set?
What did I again? My mind went blank. What did I put down? I think I actually remember. Yeah, I put Lost Caverns of Ixalan. I just thought all the art was really beautiful, and it seemed like there's some poppin' booty cards. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of cards that seemed really fun and really hype. What we got, like that 3-mana board wipe that's like Wave Goodbye or something like that. What card is that?
Yeah, it's that's from the Commander set. It's like any return anything without a counter to its owner's hand.
Yeah. And then yeah, I was just talking about building this card earlier today, which is the art is so sick. When I realized it was a lady made out of butterflies with 2 snakes behind her, I was like, that's insane.
Yeah, she's really cool.
Yeah, but it's Ojira Kostlem, and it's got trample. It's a 6/5. I gotta get comfy real fast. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you reveal cards from the top of your library. You may put a creature or land onto the battlefield among them, and the rest on the bottom. So it's like a little cheaty into play green deck that just revolves around trying to get in enough damage. And then when she dies, it flips into a land that can like sack for I think 3 mana and tapping the land, and you have to control 10 or more permanents. So basically have the city's blessing, which is pretty easy to do. Yeah, but it also just gets you a land if you need a land, which is like, that's also fine. You know what I mean? So I think these cards were all, like, I'll talk about these ones later, but I thought a lot of them were really fun.
Taj is like makes triple tokens.
Insane. And it's also, I kind of like that it's only like, it just says creature tokens.
Yeah, it's only creature
so it's
tokens,
just only, you have to be making bodies. And this dude is sick as well. Was it Ogier
Pakbatik.
Pakatik?
Deepest Epoch. It gains Rebound. They brought back Rebound for like 1 card. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude. Also, just like the stuff that you could do with this deck. I feel like this commander could be really, 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 really sick. I just don't have the brain power to unlock it. You know what I mean? I know it's out there somewhere in the conscious, but I can't. It's not coming to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of big brain. So we're actually kind of double dipping. We're kind of talking about your favorite cycle as well. So that's the next category we're going to talk about is your favorite cycle. So we can just go over and talk about it now. But you like the gods of this year a lot, and I think that's fair because they're all really cool. They all have this thing where if it dies, return to battlefield tapped and transformed under its owner's control with something. So like they do like the Ixalan flip land, like What's the guy's cradle?
Oh, growing rights.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Lamont.
like they all do the growing rights thing or treasure map or whatever the is it one that makes
Storm the Vault.
Storm the Vault, which makes a Tolarian Academy.
Isn't it Dowsing Dagger too?
Yeah, Delsing Dagger makes one.
Yeah, which I love. I think that was when we first started playing, like 2020 or so. We started playing stuff, and I was like, dude, these flip lands are crazy. And at the time, I was buying packs, and I got like one of them. At this point, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get the singles that I want to get. But that was one of the things that really drew me in. And it's like, double-sided cards are fine, but to me, my favorite is when they flip into the land, and then the land does something else too. It's like just a really cool style. Yeah, this dude goes crazy.
Crazy. The T-Rex arm is insane.
Yeah, when they said they put the art, I was like, ooh, that guy's crazy.
Yeah, they're like, this is what's coming in Ixalan. And it's like, what is coming in Ixalan? What is going on? Who is that guy?
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, something crazy is happening. Yeah, dude, wait, what was there's one card I wanted to shout out.
Oger Axonil, Deepest Might is the red one. It says it's a 4/4 with trample for 4 mana. If a red source you control would deal an amount of non-combat damage less than his power to an opponent, that source deals a damage equal to his power instead. So it turns turns in the festivities into like 4 damage each opponent. Or like Gutter Snipe, now it's going to do 4 damage each opponent, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah. In this same vein, there's another red card that came out this year that I wanted to show because I totally missed it. It's called Isengard Unleashed. Have you seen this one?
No.
But yes, the gods were my favorite cycle, and I think the flip lands are really, really sick, and I love them a lot. I think anytime they do god-related stuff is really fun because it's always some kind of pantheon. You know, each color gets a god.
Oh, yeah. This was in
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Isengard Unleashed is 2 and 3 red sorcery. Damage can't be prevented this turn. If the source you control would deal damage this turn to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals triple that damage instead. And it's also got flashback for 4 and 3 red. Just seems super bonkers, you know, on top of the bullshit you're already pulling. Like you've got the red god as your commander. Sorry, I forget his name.
Ogier or something.
Ogier, yeah. And then you cast this, you're kind of going crazy. You're kind of going hard. So I thought it was kind of fun. I liked it.
Yeah.
I was scrolling through the commander stuff and I was like, that's crazy. I missed that card entirely.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's got flashback, you can do it again.
Well, did you see this card? The Legolas one?
Yeah.
Legolas quick reflexes.
That card is
this
crazy.
card is ridiculous.
Yeah. The fact that it's got split second is
insane.
Stupid. Yeah.
But yeah, did you want to say anything else about Ixalan?
No, I got it in. Those were my final thoughts before we went to talking about the Isengard one.
Oh, okay.
But what was your favorite set?
Oh, my favorite set. We missed one of the gods. What's that guy's name? The bat.
Oh, I'll be honest, that's the worst one.
I like him. I think he's cool.
Is Bat God.
Aklazot's Deepest Betrayal, 3 black, flying, lifelink, 4/4. Whenever he attacks, each opponent discards a card. For each opponent who can't, you draw a card. Whenever an opponent discards a land card, create a black bat creature token with flying. And then when it dies, you transform it into a land. And then activate only if a player has one or fewer cards in hand and only as a sorcery. I think he's cool. I think he's neat. He makes bats, and he's a bat god. He's cool.
Yeah.
I like
do
him.
love the art. I love the bat. I like making the bat. I don't think the play pattern's fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to make everyone discard their whole hand just so I can have
put him in the
bats.
90. I think he's a fun 99 card. Like an Iara.
Ooh, yeah.
Imagine this in Iara, because it's just a big flyer. He attacks and he makes people discard a card once a turn, and then you make a bat and ping. I think he's sweet. He's cool.
Okay. Also, if you put him in Nekusar
Yeah.
for some top end fun,
people be
a lot of
discarding, yeah.
bats. A lot of bats.
This is my least favorite one, the Osier Talk Deepest Foundation that triples creature tokens. I just think it's boring. And the command zone, we're talking about it, and I completely agree. I was thinking the same thing. That just, who needs this? Who needs this card? Because it's 6 mana for this. 6 mana. And, like, when are you going to pay 6 mana and then make a creature token on the same turn? Not very often. Most of the time, you're going to cast this for 6 mana, and then you have to wait 3 turns, and hopefully it didn't get board wiped or just didn't get deleted immediately, and then you can triple tokens. Or you can just play Mondrak. Mondrak is 4 mana, and you can still get double tokens. Like, triple is a lot, but double is still just as good.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, because Mondrak has held its value. This is a $40 card. That's insane. I didn't know this was a $40 card.
Yeah.
I have one.
Well, this says if one or more tokens would be created. So this is any token that you make. The
This is only creature tokens.
Osier Talk, is only creatures. Which I feel like, what's this one's price?
$17. It'll go up. It'll go back up.
Oh.
It'll go back up. But it's 17.
That's the thing is that's the thing is not every deck wants this, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're playing like just a creature token deck, a lot of the time you're like making tokens when things enter, you're making tokens when you attack, and you're making tokens at the end step. You know what I mean? So there's plenty of times to play this and then like easily take advantage of it. And it also turns into a land that you can bring back at any point when you're ready to make a fuck ton of tokens, which is like pretty resilient. Like someone would have to really snipe that to get it.
Sure.
Yeah, so I feel like it's definitely like too much hype around it because people were like triple tokens, triple tokens, but like there are decks that could use it and it does go crazy. Also, is triple overkill? Absolutely, but like we're Commander players, this is what we do.
For sure.
But I think it's fun. I like them. I like all of them. This one is definitely the most like flashy pushed one. I wish the bat had a more fun play pattern. But I think the other 3 are pretty solid. Especially the green and the blue one. Those 2 are crazy or pretty fun. Especially Rebound. Rebound is fun.
So my favorite set.
Yar.
It's not even close. This is one of the best Magic sets of all time. I stand by it. This set is so cool. It's got crazy shit in it. It's just insane. You telling me they made a set where Thalia rides into battle on the Gitrog monster and is not the best set of the year? How do you spell this fucking card?
Dude, that art goes so hard. I love it. Oh, yeah.
How do you fucking spell that? Yeah. Did you mean booby? No, I didn't, Scryfall.
Did you mean booby?
How do you spell this fucking card? Fibblethip. I was trying to do a bit, and the bit is ruined. Borborygmos and Fibblethip on one card. Like, look at this shit, dude. They paired up all the homies. And it's sick. It's like the best buddy cop thing you could do. And they did it like 30 times. It's like, look at all these cool, or like Baral and Kari Zev. Like, what a matchup, you know? It's just sweet. And then they also did the cycle of They completed Heliod, who we thought was dead, but apparently not. But so they have these legends that got completed, and then they transform into like a Phyrexian with Phyrexian mana. Like that's the coolest shit I've ever seen. And then they brought the Praetors back with one name, no semicolon. They're not Elish Norn blank. They're just Elish Norn. They're just shielded.
Yeah.
Like that's so cool.
Oh yeah, you got the Atali.
Oh yeah,
You got
the Atali. Like what the fuck is that? Like what a magic card. That thing is insane.
Yeah. Oh, and was Hoarding Broodlord from that set too?
Yeah, we haven't even got to that Convoke is in that set, and all the Convoke shit's insane.
Yeah. Inga and Eska. When you flip the page and it's a bunch of battles that just are sideways, it makes my brain hurt.
The battles, but some of the battles were cool. They made a new card type for this set for some reason, but a lot of them are kind of cool. But like Hoarding Broodlord, the sickest card of all time, or
yeah.
City on Fire, 5 red. Convoke. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent player, deals triple that damage instead. So it's Fiery Emancipation with Convoke. So it's free sometimes. Crazy.
They got my boy Phyrexian Censor in there.
Phyrexian Censor.
You got Rankle and Torbrand, which I feel like is actually a buddy cop.
Yeah,
comedy.
they're hilarious.
Like that's a goofy pairing.
Like it's just so cool, and like it's just this big explosion of all like everything that I've seen in Magic for the last like 5 years that I've been watching all showed up at one time. Like everything they've been doing led up into this moment. Like I don't know. I think it's sick. And like people say it was rushed and that the story was kind of a flop, and like that's fine because I don't think the Magic story is that good to begin with. Sorry. Like, it's fine. It's like the Magic story is as if it leads to shit like this, where it's just like goofy, off the wall, badass stuff that I like looking at, then it's perfect. So this set was a perfect story because it had some awesome cards and cool, like, thematic moments on the cards. And that's all I care about. The Magic story is like serviceable and solid. And that's good enough for me. And if they didn't stick the landing, kind of, oh well. It led to cool Magic cards, and that's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
So they did a whole new card type.
Fun.
They had like cards that flip with Phyrexian mana, Convoke.
Oh, you got the Prowess.
What's that guy called? Spell Spear?
Oh, it's Gitaxian something.
Kinra Spell Spear, 1 in a blue for a 2/2 with Trample and Prowess. And then you can do 3 and transform it. For Gitaxian Spell Stalker, Trample, War 2, Prowess, 3/3. Prowess.
I didn't remember the front side because that's not the side that gave me trauma in the draft.
Yeah. Trample, War 2, Prowess is a bonkers text box. Prowess goes so hard. I want Prowess like tattooed on my face.
Dude, under both eyes,
Prowess.
like Post Malone stays
Prowess.
always tired. Yeah. Fucking hard as fuck set, dude.
Yeah. So that's my Marching Machine. That's my favorite set. And it's not even close. That set was sick. And draft was fun. Draft had the multiversal legends. I played against Skitherix in draft. How often does that happen? Someone had Skitherix and I was like, oh, I just lose now.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm in danger.
But awesome set. And then
Yeah.
You talked about your favorite cycle. I'll do mine really fast. It's just oh my god.
Bruh.
I don't know how to spell any of these words. Oh my god.
Bruh.
It's like this cycle from Lord of the Rings, like the common land cyclers. So like Oliphant is like 6 mana. for a 6/4 with trample whenever it attacks another target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains trample to end a turn. And then it's got mountain cycling for 1, and then there's 1 for all the colors, and 4 of them are like a big thing. So like one's like a giant int with like reach, and it's like a 6/7. One's like a 5/4 troll with like triple menace. One's an eagle.
Yeah.
That like if you're going wide, the eagle's pretty good. Then the blue one is like 5 mana draw 3 cards. So they're all playable. They're all powerful, and they're all like common, which is so cool. They're really good in my cube. I made a peasant cube this year, and I like it a lot. So they're really good in my cube. They're really good, super good in Pauper Commander. And I think they're good in regular Commander too. So that was my favorite cycle.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
they're just really cool and inventive and powerful for a common. That's my choice of my favorite cycle of the year.
Yeah. Honestly, like the utility is insane because the cards are like decent. So if you're at a point where you can cast them, sick. Draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
Sick. Have a 6/4 trampler that also gives something trample. What was the? I don't know what the. Oh, what's the troll can't be blocked by 3 or more creatures. Oh, you weren't kidding when you had said triple menace. That's so funny.
It's a 6/5 that can be blocked except for my 3 or more creatures. That's a lot. Like that's probably gonna get through and smack someone for 6. That's like a lot of life.
And pretty reliably.
Yeah.
Like
Or it's a land.
You have to be going pretty wide to toss those away, you know?
Yeah. And it's fine to toss them away
yes.
because they're just like these are like MDFCs. They're like or just a tap land. Like you're paying 1 to go get a land in your hand that you can play. So it's a tap land.
Yeah.
That also
And
is a 6/5.
Search your library for a swamp. So you could even get it for like any swamp,
Yeah,
which is
you can
also
get
sick.
duels. You can get like Mystic
It's
Sanctuary.
also nice like consistency for any deck.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if you don't have solid access to ramp or draw or you feel like you don't, you can just put this in and it's like at least a guaranteed land, you know?
Yep.
They're sick.
Very cool cards. And do you want to just?
And when you cycle it, it triggers Conrad.
It does, and the Micro Tyrant.
Yeah.
Do you want?
You're on the Micro Tyrant train.
I am. I want to build it in paper. I love it in Historic
Hell yeah.
Brawl. It's very fun.
Nice.
Do you want to just finish off with Commanders?
Sure, that's fine.
What did I put down? Okay, yeah. Dude, did we both do?
Oh,
We both did Boros Commanders.
we did, yeah.
My favorite commander this year is Pia Nalaar Console Revival. A lot of my favorite cards were good in this deck because this deck is insane. I've played it like 6 times, and it hasn't lost a game yet. It's just very resilient. It's very fast. It's a 2 mana 2/3, so she's got that 2/3 stats. For red and white, Thopters you control have haste. Whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. It just goes crazy. So it's just you fill the deck with impulse draw, and then you just kind of win the game. Because you draw your entire deck, so you just never run out of cards. You never miss land drops, so it's like you're not ramping, but you're just constantly have mana, so you're never down mana. And so you will outpace all the other decks in mana because like everyone just misses land drops. It's just you will, not with this deck because you're just getting access to so many cards. And then by getting your card advantage, you're winning the game because you're getting evasive flyers that can hit your opponents, and then you just fill the deck with Impact Trimmers and Hedron Detonator and Reckless Fireweaver. So when all these are entering, you're also pinging, and then you can immediately send them at people's faces. So it's just the best. It's very fun.
Excuse me.
Insane card. If you haven't tried it, try it. It's worth it. Just build this deck, and you'll be like, whoa, Thopters are sick. Because Thopters are sick.
Yeah. Dude, it's insane. Also, she's 2 mana.
Yeah, she's 2. She comes down on turn 2.
And it's easy to recast her. You got to remove her like 2 to 3 times before it's like hard.
Inconvenient, yeah.
and she's a 2/3 for 2.
Yeah, she's got stats.
Like, yeah, dude. This deck is insane.
And it's play a land from exile. It's not just cast a
Yeah.
spell. It's whenever you play a land too. It's crazy.
Yeah. You're always on track.
And who's your favorite?
Is dude, I can't. My tongue ain't working. Anum Pakal Thousandth Moon. It's 1 in a Boros. Is that close enough? Should I try it again?
That'll be fun.
Anum Pakal Thousandth Moon. That's as good as that's gonna get. But she is a red and a white Boros, obviously, for a 2/1, or no, a 1/2. And whenever you attack with one or more non-gnome creatures, put a 1/1 counter on Amun Pakal and create X 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature tokens that are tapped and attacking, where X is the number of counters on Amun Pakal. Pretty sick. It's pretty fun with the 1/1 counters to make tokens that are tapped and attacking, but the best part is those tokens are gnomes. And it's fun. I've played this one on Arena a lot. This is like the one card that I haven't gotten to play or try out in a way yet, but I've played it on Arena a bunch. And there's a lot of protection spells that put a 1/1 counter on something as well, which like helps play into it, because when you protect her, you're also like buffing her up, and then you can swing with anything that's not a gnome. So if you're not in a position that you can swing with her because she's not big enough, there's too many big things on board, you can just swing like a human token too. You know what I mean? You can do whatever your deck's doing by default. The main goal is just to pump her up so she makes a bunch of gnomes.
Yeah, she's cool. She's sweet because I think she's the first legendary Rabble Master we've ever gotten, which is pretty sweet because,
What do you mean?
like, this effect, like a 3-mana creature that makes a 1/1 token every turn. They're called Rabble Masters, like Goblin Rabble Master. 2 in a red. Other goblin creatures you control attack each turn of Able. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 goblin creature token with haste. And then whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each other attacking goblin. So, very powerful card when it came out at like Ran Standard. And it still shows up in like Vintage Cube and stuff. Like, it's like a powerful effect. And then we also have like Legion Warboss with Mentor. And then it makes a token every turn that gains haste and attacks as combat if able. So we've just made other. So it's like a Rabble Master. That's what it's called. I think there's other ones too. But this one's in the command zone, and it gets white. And it's Boros specifically. So Boros, like attacking stuff, is cool. So I think it's a cool commander, and because it makes creature tokens and it makes artifact tokens.
Yeah. So you can toss. You still get Reckless Fireweaver. You can put in Hedron Detonator.
Yeah.
All the good kush.
And it's an artifact creature specifically, like artifact creature, which is like it's like a thing they're pushing, like this guy, Lashio Clockwork Scholar. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking artifact creatures you control. Whenever one or more artifact creatures ETB under your control, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. And there's more. They've made more of these artifact creature specific cards. I don't know if we're there yet. We're very close to having like a artifact creature deck. Like, we have the Urza. We have Urza. We have the Esper Urza, and that's basically the deck. Where are you at? Yeah. Urza Chief Artificer. Yeah. Affinity for artifact creatures. Artifact creatures you control a menace. So we have a deck for it. And it's good for sure, but I don't like this deck's good, but soon we'll have stuff to make it like. And they're just coming out all the time. Also, these cards, the Cybermen. Have you seen these?
I think I saw it on game nights once.
7 mana, 5/5 for artifact creature Cyberman. Non-legendary artifact creatures you control a myriad. Give all your gnomes myriad. What? That's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Or give them all afflict. Cyberman Patrol. 2 mana 2/2 artifact creatures you control have afflict 3. Whenever a creature with afflict 3 becomes blocked, defending player loses 3 life. So with the gnomes, they're all 1/1s. So they attack and they're a bunch of 1/1s. So you either take all the 1/1 damage or you take 3.
Yeah.
Like what?
Take 3 to kill him. That's crazy. Damn. Dude, yeah. I need to go. I was looking at the Doctor Who stuff a little bit, but I don't know it well enough to like.
Doctor Who was insane. It was like too much.
Yeah,
too
there's
many
seemed to be
words
some
in that
crazy
set.
cards.
And like
Yeah.
Because each Doctor has there's like 79 legends in that set.
Yeah, because of the companion thing.
Yeah, and they all
Yeah.
Well, that's just each individually, like each Doctor and the companion, there was like 79 legends, and then like with the combinations, it's like there's like 1,000 combinations or something insane.
That's crazy.
Like all the different permutations you could do for all the different Doctor Who's combos. So they went so hard on that set.
We should get all the homies to build something out of that set just to see what we can cook.
Yeah, I just don't know anything about Doctor Who. Like the flavor is just right over my head, but the cards are cool.
Yeah. The only thing I know is the Daleks, the robots.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna call dibs on Grixis.
Also, this Cyber conversion, this card rips. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Blue,
that card's
instant,
fucked up.
turn target creature face down. It's a 2/2 Cyberman artifact creature token.
Yeah.
Crazy card. Well, I think that does it.
Yeah. Small little Doctor Who shout out here at the end.
A really good set.
Like this card for 2 mana is kind of insane.
Bonkers.
Yeah. Obey or you will be destroyed.
Yeah. That's classic, like shitty sci-fi. Like like in the show, because that's from like the original like Doctor Who, like from like the 60s. So the shit looked bad.
Yeah. No, dude, I grew up watching what was the shit? What's the Robinsons but in space?
The Jetsons?
No, it's Will Robinson. Danger. Oh, dude, I can't remember it. Oh well. I love a cheesy
Sci-fi thing.
like Cyborg.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like a cheesy, late 70s, 80s Cyborg.
And then one final thing, Ryan. What set are you most looking forward to this year?
Probably just the Clue one right now. I was excited for that one when they announced like the theme of it being like a murder mystery and stuff. I think that'll be really cool. And then probably the Wild West one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Unless the Fallout one counts, then the Fallout one is at the top of the list. Yeah, Fallout's at the top of the list because that'll actually be the thing that might get me to crack and buy a collector booster of a box. You know what I mean? Like do the whole thing. But in terms of like just straight sets, probably the Ravnica Clue set and the Cowboys. But what about you?
Not to be dramatic, but Bloomburrow will probably like change my entire life. Like that set's gonna be so good. The little animal set. Did you see? The little mouse fighting the wolf.
Yeah.
That set's gonna rock.
That's like the Redwall thing.
Yeah, the Redwall set. That
dude,
that
it's
set's
gonna
rip, dude. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that does it.
Excuse me.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for letting us ramble.
Thanks for listening to us ramble for a whole year. We love you all bunches. Smoochie, smoochies, smooch. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. We'll be back this time
yeah.
next year.
Yeah, we're gonna keep cooking. So, hope you guys like eating, cause food's coming out of the kitchen.
And remember to subscribe if you liked us, and give us a like, give us a comment. That helps with all the metrics and all the algorithm stuff. Give us
Keeping it on track.
a rating on your podcast app of choice. That gets us into the algorithm. And we saw our metrics on Spotify this year, and like we saw some people found this show because they saw it recommended to them. Right? Wasn't like a good portion of people?
There's a chunk of people that were seeing it recommended, which is really awesome. So any reviews help. Sharing it with friends helps. We're going to be in Chicago, so if you see us, come say hi. We will absolutely
there.
play a game. And yeah, just really excited. Very thankful for y'all. So the smooches were real, okay? Those weren't like I'm tired, like delirious smooches. Those were real smooches. So yeah, I think that's it though. Thanks for everything. Like and subscribe. What I was doing over here looking like an idiot was the dinner bell, because I said we were cooking. I hope you're hungry. So hit the bell, because it's the dinner bell. And we'll see y'all next time in Commander's Paradise. Bye-bye.